everyone. How are you doing? I was just talking to Carla on an offline call, and I thought I would share my thoughts with the rest of you. And I was explaining to her how the world is shifting from the kind of world where we know, which was that we were a family. You had parents, you had grandfather, you have um, aunties, and you have uncles who would help you become a certain kind of person. But now the position changed after some years, and it became where the books became the teacher, and we were learning from the books. And then there was another shift, and that was towards radio, and then there was television. And the people who are on radio and television became the influencers of our life, and we started to become like the people who are on television. But now, in this generation of the internet, with Facebook and Facebook Live, what is happening is that you, I, Carla, Ali Dadwala, Didar Sheikh, all these people who are going live, and our friends basically are becoming our new teachers. We're creating a new kind of culture on the globe, which is influenced by you and influenced by me and influenced by everyone. And the difference between this influence is that it was very difficult to write a book. It was very difficult to be on radio. It was very difficult to be on television. Whereas now it's no longer difficult, and all of a sudden 2 billion people come in the world and are live or active. They share content. And we are the ones who are creating the new kind of content and new kind of culture. And it's up to us what the future will look like. So people who are thinking, oh, I'm a nobody and I'm living in a very small town in the world and I really don't really matter anymore, that's no longer the case. Every single human being who is active on Facebook, active on YouTube, active on Facebook Live, or any other form like blogging or anything else, they are literally creating how the world in future will look like. And some people have more influence, just like in television. Some people had more influence, just like in the book world. Some people had more influence. It is now changing as we are entering into this new era of globalization and the era of new interconnectedness. And I if you think about it, I was watching another video by a friend of mine. His name is Anis, and this another gentleman from Sibbi, Rehan Allahwala. And I was one of those people, and this is how we were raised, that we were taught to complain that the government did not this to us and government did not do that, and this is broken or that is broken. But if you actually look carefully, the governments actually never did anything in the last 100 years or 125 years. And I was watching this documentary about Nikola Tesla, that electricity only happened in this last century. So it's only 110 years old that there was no electricity before. There was nothing. And then Tesla was trying to create this global communication system, which allows today television, but it will also allow global free communication in the world. And that's what has finally happened in this century, that people can communicate freely, openly, to the world, to everyone, whoever they wanted to. And that's one of the most important things to have, is to be able to speak, be able to be heard. And once you are able to speak and when you're heard, you change. It's fundamentally something inside us changes, because we feel content that we have actually spoken out and, we made our cause. And in the last era, in the last way of living, the governments told us that we have to give them the power so they can take our money, they can take our taxes and do something which is good for the whole community. And they have not been able to do that properly. And there are many reasons for that. And now it is up to us how we change and how we do something about what will our future looks like. So if Carla is doing a show every day, talking to almost 2 hours and a day with a guy from Palestine and a guy from Pakistan and a woman from DC, and this was unheard of. This was unthinkable. This was something which the presidents of the world wouldn't be able to do. And now, Carla Reachman can do it, and Ali Dadwala can do it, and Didar Sheikh can do it, and anybody can do it. And it's the courage which is lacking of doing it, of taking the action. And once we get over the fear which we have, which we think we don't have, but everybody has, of going online or becoming naked, as a lot of people say, online, and getting over the ideology of it's not about what, people are trying to protect some kind of privacy. You need to understand what privacy we're trying to protect and what is it that we're trying to hide. Are people posting naked photos of themselves on Facebook or their family? What is it that they're trying to hide and they're scared of? And unless we take this fear away, we will still stay American or Pakistani or Palestinian or Israeli or Jew or a Muslim or whatever. The moment we take away the fear and start connecting to these people and start talking to these people, all those fears will just start dropping like they never existed. They were built around us, and now we have to, just like the Berlin Wall was built and the new wall might be built in Mexico, we need to take care of this. And one thing which whoever is hearing me, if there's people from Mexico and the US hearing this, if you could actually break the walls through the Facebook based on like what we're doing, and trying to connect more and more people. So for example, if every Mexican in Mexico knew 10 Americans in America, there would be no more fear of Americans fearing Mexicans and Mexicans fearing Americans anymore, because they would actually have an amigo on the other side of the border, and we will integrate and become one, and we will be able to have the empathy which needs to understand why they're doing it and what's happening. And this has never been possible before, but it is possible today. And thank you, Carla, for doing what you're doing and giving your time. And that's the most expensive commodity which people are not giving right now, is becoming available. Just make yourself available to people who want to be able to talk to you. Unfortunately, in the churches, we can't go in. Unfortunately, in synagogues and mosques, we just can't go in because there's fear. But on Facebook, we can go in and say, hi, let's talk. And we're all part of a new kind of family where, our parents don't sit us down all the time and tell us how we should be acting. That is how we just learn by watching them. Will learn by seeing what our elders are doing, be it an elder brother or sister, whoever. We just copy them. And for example, the reason I speak English the way I speak is I watched a lot of CNN. I actually did not even watch a lot of CNN. I just heard a lot of CNN. And I ended up speaking English the way I speak. And that's not only the reason, because I also learned it in school, which was not doing a very good job, and I really didn't like to study. But this is something how I learned. I learned by hearing and watching. So now all of a sudden, Leland is a big brother, Carla is a big sister, Rehan is a big brother or a young brother to everyone. And we're collectively learning, and we're having a collective consciousness, which something Nikola Tesla mentioned 100 years ago, where we can actually use our collective consciousness and collective brain power to dissolve the problems which are around us. And Majority of the problems are because we don't understand the problems, we're scared of them, or we dislike what we do. Most people in the world do jobs which they don't really like. And that's one of the fundamental problems of the new system, of the old system. In the new system, we need to do jobs which we actually love. Otherwise, we would not get in the depth of the problem. And we just learn to band-aid the problem. We don't really learn how to go in deep and understand the cause and effect of it. And we just try to, on the surface, solve them. Otherwise, imagine a guy 120 years ago inventing electricity. Why would he invent something so amazing, and Edison invent so many things amazing, and why can't we do it? And both of them, especially Edison, was not good in learning, but they were curious. And I'm not saying there are no longer curious people, but we kill our curiosity in the school system, and we sort of want people to become in a certain way because we think it's right. Who are we to judge anybody? How much knowledge do we have to tell anyone how good are we or bad are we? And then again, that's what you're helping these people do who join your show. I mean, how I'm amazed that you got Tariq Shatat to do this every day. He would never listen. Now he's showing up every day, and he's talking and he's giving his time. He was the first one who won a laptop from us in Palestine. And it was such a hassle to get him one, and then he finally got out of Gaza. And now he has the power to change the entire nation, but he doesn't. He doesn't think that he can do that. He doesn't think that he has the power to do anything. He's like, oh, I'm nobody. So that's what we all do. We all end up thinking we're nobodies, but we're all somebodies, and we're nobodies. We're all connected, and we all have the power to just become what we're supposed to become. And once we become what we're supposed to become, hopefully things get better. Thank you for doing the amazing job you do. Everyone out there who is doing the amazing jobs they do, thank you for doing that. And if somebody has time, I would really request you to go live for 15 to 30 minutes every day, and just write the status, how can I help you? And just be present and be available for these people to come and ask help from you. And if you tag me, I will be happy to share those videos. And if you do it a good job on them, I will give you access to my page, and you can do it from my page. And you will have access to 590,000 people who are on my page all of a sudden. And you can help them by, not financially, you can help them by just listening to them, and by allowing them to be present with you, and by bringing them into your video call, and giving them the motivation to do their own show and become the change they want to see in the world. Well, I am doing what I can, and I feel that the results are coming finally. At least little seedlings are coming. And I'm happy and thankful to you and people like Rahmat and people like Leland who have joined the journey and giving their time every day, every other day, every week. Adalat Khan from Austria is doing it. So all these guys, they are planting more seeds, and it will become a forest sometime in the next few years. And as I said, there is the pain and suffering is about to go away. We just have to be a little bit more patient. We have to take actions of what we can, and it's about to go away. And Zahida Nawaz Minhas, you can't join because you don't know. You can join and you can learn. Just go on YouTube and type how to do this, or just try different things. You won't break the computer, you won't break the mobile phone, you won't break the internet. Nothing is going to break. The only thing that is going to break is the fear of doing this. So break your fear as soon as possible, and then take an action and become amazing. And what you can do is you can talk to Rahmat, and he can interview you, and he can show you how to do this also. So how about that?